And it's 12:05 on this Wednesday afternoon here on 90.3 FM. And since it is Wednesday, it's time for Helping Seniors of Brevard. Let's get the show underway as we introduce the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the host of the show. Here's Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry.
Hey, John Harper, and thank you, and welcome to the broadcast, as they say. We're so glad that you're taking your time on your lunch hour on Wednesday and gathering around the radio, as we do right here on 90.3 FM WEJF. We have so many things to talk about today on the radio, and excited that in the studio with me is none other than Helping Seniors Operations Director, Nancy Deardorff. How are you today, Nancy?
I'm well, Kerry. Nice to be back in the studio with you.
Absolutely, and on behalf of our president and founder, Joe Steckler, and the rest of the whole Helping Seniors family, we have got so much that we're going to cover today. Want to go ahead and sort of jump right in. We've got, once again, a studio full of knowledgeable experts who do care, and that is none other than, let me introduce us to Barb McIntyre, longtime friend of the Helping Seniors Radio Organization, who is also our reverse mortgage expert, among other things. How are you today, Barb?
I'm just terrific and glad to be here.
And we're talking about how great the photo is going to look on the Facebook post later, because you guys like coordinated outfits. You ready for spring?
Even Nancy mentioned.
Yeah, it's really good. And so also in the studio with us today, another longtime friend of Helping Seniors, Traci Graf, registered nurse and owner of Avid Home Care Services. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Kerry.
Wow. Like we have, and Nancy, that's your background too, because you were a registered nurse for so many years. And we're gonna we're gonna talk about. We called today's topic "You Can Help Too." And so, as you know, Helping Seniors is a nonprofit organization. We are dedicated and have been now for 11 years of helping folks here in Brevard County. Our president and founder, Joe Steckler, he's the guy that came up with the Joe's Clubs, trying to make a difference for folks with memory issues and just to give caregivers some respite. But past that, for 11 years, we've had this Helping Seniors helpline now. And Nancy, you have been so busy, not only with the calls coming in there, but then you've been out and about in the community. In fact, it was just a big senior expo there in Palm Bay.
Yes, I had a great time, and it was great making connections with seniors at the Senior Expo over there at the Palm Bay Senior Center. It was awesome event last week, and a lot of fun too. And yeah, you're right, Kerry, about the phone calls. I go way back with Helping Seniors as a volunteer board member.
Right.
And then in November, I became an employee of Helping Seniors. So, of course, I'm no longer on the board. But it's really opened my eyes. And even since November 1, when I took on this role, the amount of phone calls to our helpline have increased steadily every week and every month. And we're nearing 300 calls per month.
Wow.
And I'm very proud to say at Helping Seniors, not only do we answer the phone and provide you resources for whatever you're looking for, from household to legal to healthcare, whatever you need, we will do our best to get you connected with the resources that are here available in our wonderful Brevard County. But also, I do follow-up calls. So we do a form of care management and care navigation.
Right.
So I make sure I follow up with those callers to make sure we close the loop and they get the help that they need.
I was thinking about that when Joe first envisioned this as a charity program here in Brevard County. We were talking, as you know, because you were there right as all this was coming together, the statistics about the number of seniors in Brevard County, and that we really didn't have 100% local to Brevard organization that was available as a resource for people where they could call. So here we are, 11 years later, we have the Senior Information Helpline, and people are calling in because sometimes, you might have money, but that doesn't mean you know the answer to the question you run into. And God forbid, if you don't have the money, now you're really stretched in even farther directions. And I'm always impressed with the amount of help that our little organization is able to do. And really, Nancy, that's a credit to you and all the work that you've done over the years, because you really understand not only the local situation, but through your own expertise of having run and managed one of the area's big home health agencies, you understand the senior aspect of it as well, let alone, with your background on the medical side as a registered nurse, you get what seniors are moving through.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed to have had the background that I have had because it has helped me in this role with helping seniors. And the helpline is all about, to your point about resources in Brevard, there's more resources than people realize.
Yeah.
There's no question we need more, particularly with affordable housing. I won't get on my soapbox right now about that. Affordable housing for everyone, but especially for seniors. But it's all about making connections with lovely people like Barb McIntyre that we have with us today and Traci Graf, making those connections. And the big question is, how do you know what you don't know? Well, you don't. And that's what we're here to do, to connect you with wonderful folks and organizations and businesses. And we're kind of a one-stop shop, hopefully. And it's about making that network. And that's what we are. We're a network. So if you have a question and don't know where to turn, you have a pretty good shot at being able to get that question answered and getting connected to what you need to know, who you need to know, and what you need to know through our helpline. And I can be reached at 321-473-7770. If I don't pick up, it means I'm on the line helping another senior. I always call back, so please do leave a voicemail, and I'll get you back and get you connected.
Nancy, as you were saying that, I kept thinking of it. You guys remember the old commercial, now you have a friend in the something business. I think it was a jeweler that used to say, now you have a friend in the diamond business. But I was thinking, Nancy, with you, now you have a friend in the senior because and have helped people navigate. And Tracy, from your perspective as Avid Home Care Services, you're doing day in, day out, going in, helping people in their homes and making sure that they're getting the help that they need. You really see the need for what goes on here because we have so many seniors. We say 1 in 4 is over 65, but 1 in 2, if you just want to use AARP's definition, over 50 is a senior here in Brevard County, and it's growing by the day.
Yes. And I think that like all agencies, it's been tough this past year hiring staff and things. And I am definitely seeing out in the community that people are having trouble getting staffing. People will call us. They've called 3, 4, 5 other agencies.
Wow.
No one can staff it. We just recently got a call from a gentleman and with his dad dying in Cape Canaveral, and very sad. No financial problems really to speak of. They could have paid for lots of care, but they really only needed about an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. I wasn't really sure how we could do it, but very honestly, I felt really bad for the son. I mean, the family, they just did not know what to do, and hospice can only do so much.
Right.
And his father had made a very quick decline. So we went ahead and took him on service, and thankfully we were able, with some changes in staffing that, who knows why they happened, but they happened, and we were able to give them help, and he died actually pretty quickly. But, the son said several times to me, there was at least 4 other agencies that he spoke to that never even called him back.
Wow. We were having that conversation about professionalism and being responsive. One of the things that is more frustrating, and I remember Joe said this when he first got things started, people were amazed at how much helping seniors could do because so often people would call in and they would be frustrated. I called this, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press 3 for that. You get in somebody's voicemail. You're not talking to a real person. You don't know if they got the message, if they're going to call back, if they care, any of those things. And Joe, because of his experience, he knows, and like Nancy knows, they know, like, okay, if we're confronted with this situation, maybe here's who we call. But that's the same kind of expertise that you bring into home health, right? Somebody's going through things that they've never gone before. Like you're talking about the son and trying to deal with a parent who is working through their last days on this earth, and just you being able to be there and comfort. I mean, you can imagine you're already stressed out. Now you're calling all these people saying, I need some help. And nobody's calling you back. That's got to be a very stressful place to be.
Yeah, he was upset, and they were very grateful in the end that we could help them. We find a lot of times that families in that situation, they can handle a lot of the care to their loved one, but when it comes to personal care, changing a diaper, cleaning them in some way, they're not comfortable doing it. And some of them, they're like, I can do everything but that.
Yeah.
And if you can take that load off their mind, especially with a hospice patient, you take that concern out of their sort of off their radar and say, we got that part of it. You just focus on what you need to do. And, death only happens once.
Yeah.
I know we're afraid of it. In this country, we're very afraid of it, but it really is something that happens every single day. So I think that time with a family and a patient, and we're very popular with hospice because we can work in coordination with them.
Mm-hmm.
We can fill in gaps around them. We do quickly respond. Many times the social workers for the hospice agencies will call me directly on my cell phone. And being a nurse, they know they can plead to me and say, we really need help.
Well,
and
that's
I'll
what
come.
I was going to interject. I love the fact that you're an RN-owned business.
Yes.
Because Tracy, you are an RN and you own Avid, and I love that. That brings a lot to the table as far as operating a home health agency and the level of expertise you have in doing that with your experience that you bring along to that.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, Nancy and I are from both Gentiva, which is now Kindred, but that's where I learned how to do home health care, skilled home health care for Medicare. And that was my introduction into any kind of home care. Now, Avid is non-skilled, which is not covered by insurance. It's out of pocket. Mm-hmm. But, recently I was speaking to another non-skilled agency, and they said to me that they market case management. And I thought, so Nancy mentioned it just a few minutes ago, talking about some of what she does for helping seniors, and I never thought that I do case management for all of our current clients. So what does that mean for a non-skilled client? That means my RN experience helps you stay out of the hospital, helps you navigate to go to the right physicians, helps you follow up on care.
Yeah.
That people don't think that they need to do. And it's something that, very honestly, I'm really good at it.
Yeah. Well,
I learned it from Gentiva. I did. I learned that from Gentiva, and that case management aspect of all the different resources that are available to people that they may not be aware of, including what we can do for them.
We're really talking about experience matters here, and we're talking with Traci Graf with Avid Home Care. But just real quickly, so people understand, but most of us, we don't understand what services can do for us and what they don't. Who would give you a call? Who would be somebody that would give you a call, and what would they ask for your help with?
So it's I can make that very easy, because this is a constant confusion, including from people coming out of the hospital, people who claim to know. There's two types of home care. There's skilled care and there's non-skilled. Mm-hmm. Skilled care has to come with a diagnosis, a change in medication, a change in status, a hospital stay, an injury, a fall, and it is skilled professionals.
Okay.
RNs, physical therapists, occupational therapists, social workers, speech therapists. It is paid for by Medicare.
Okay.
100%. Non-skilled home care is everything else.
Okay.
Say you've had a stroke, and post-stroke, you are no longer able to shower safely. You are no longer able to cook safely. Mm-hmm. You maybe are no longer able to drive. So who's going to do those things? Because insurance will not pay for those things. So that's where non-skilled, or some people call them licensed only, or private agencies come in. And I say that we can fill in the gaps, because Avid has no hourly minimum. So we're very flexible and very client-oriented, very much just trying to do exactly what they need and nothing more. Because in my opinion, I just said this to a client, how does it benefit me or you to come in here and say, I have this much minimum and I have this much obligation from you to me, and you're going to run out of money faster than if I do this differently, the way we do it? Where we're very flexible, sometimes very short shifts, put people on hold status. We do all sorts of crazy scheduling. But it benefits them and me, in my opinion, because it makes their money last longer, which means they're going to be a bigger long-term commitment or a longer-term commitment with me as a client.
Right.
And they're going to get excellent care. So I just feel that it's just, I think it's the best way to do so.
So Traci Graf, if somebody wants to get in touch with Avid, maybe ask questions or say, here's my situation, how do they reach you? They
can call us at 321-392-3400 anytime. Usually the phone is answered by my son, Jeff, and he is our scheduler and recruiter and office administrator.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't answer, he's probably on the other line, and you can leave him a message, and he will definitely call you back.
Good. Well, I was thinking one of the reasons we like to schedule when we have the opportunity of having Barbara McIntyre in here at the same time, Tracy, when you're in here, is because one of the questions people have is fairly easy if you can call your insurance company, but if you have to start shifting dollars around and say, listen, I got to have some help at home. How am I going to pay for this? I'm already in a tight financial situation. Mm-hmm. And over the years, Barbara has really become like our great go-to about this question about what is a reverse mortgage, and is that a way to get some of these things done? In fact, to the point people will see all these national ads on TV. They'll go, oh, I remember him from Magnum PI, but I need help here in Florida. Barbara, what do you say about all that?
Well, I say that knowledge is power, and I'm right here in Brevard County, so I'm a phone call away from getting free information and accurate information. But before I even tap into that, what I do want to say, I've been sitting here on my hands because I wanted to say it so long, was that what I enjoy most about being a part of helping seniors is being a part of the information network.
Yes.
And the information network for me isn't just about reverse mortgages and how this mortgage can show homeowners how to use equity in their home, to tap into funds, to have home services, or to do the things they want to do. Let the house give them funds to do things they want to do. What I like most about my relationship with helping seniors is that the network that we've created of all these really giving, senior-oriented businesses is the really honest and professional services that are here to help the seniors in this county. And so a call to me may, in getting to know the person I'm talking to, may lend itself to me then saying, Tracy's the one that you need to be talking to. And it just branches out. And that's what I like most about being part of this organization, because we're all very much advocates for the seniors in this county. And it's a real privilege to be a part of this network and to have been for so many years. So that's what I've been sitting on my hands wanting to say.
Well said. And, I was thinking Nancy knows this as well as I do, but, with Joe is always, talking about Joe Steckler, our president and founder, he's always had a knack for finding the people who really do care.
Oh, yes.
It's the people who this is a life mission. This isn't just something to do. It's like there is a real, and so many people. He's also been that's why people love to find his articles in Hometown News, and he writes the column in Senior Scene, Aldea Today. You can't pick up a paper without seeing an article from Joe, and he's always advocating for seniors because we love our kids in this county. We raise extra sales tax so they can have better schools. Thank God they're at least back in school now, right?
Yeah.
COVID is kind of retreating. But, it's been tough for seniors, too. All the isolation, all the challenges, and somebody has got to speak up about that. And, I was at a Brevard Commission on Aging meeting, and Nancy, you get the call, so you understand this firsthand. But literally the staff at Brevard County and the people who are on that commission, they were so concerned about affordable housing and the challenges, because when you're a homeowner, it's great. The prices are going up. But what's happening to a lot of people who are renters is they can no longer afford their rent. Right. And so somebody has to be out on advocating on this. And by the way, so let me say that if you got a paper and a pencil handy, we invited the folks from the Brevard Commission on Aging to join us here on the radio. It's going to be March 16th. And so we're all going to be back here in the studio. And that's going to be our topic is how can we as seniors or people who care about seniors really advocate for some affordable housing options. One of the things, and you've seen Joe's written an article, there's a thing called the Sadowski Fund, which is supposed to be like a trust fund that set aside money to help for affordable housing. And yet what's happened over the years, it's been pickpocketed to help some other pet projects. And so now there's some challenges that they're going to try to make it exclusive. But the problem they were telling us at Brevard Commission on Aging is they've literally cut the funding in half. And Nancy, you see that every day on the phone.
Every day and every week that goes by, I get more and more calls about affordable housing for seniors. Again, referencing when I started back in November, my number one call was for transportation for seniors. That has shifted. My number one call now is for affordable housing. And I ask a simple math question. How do you afford $1,000, which is cheap, $1,000 rent a month, which, by the way, is very cheap now.
Yeah.
People are shocked.
And very hard to find.
And very hard to find. If you can find it.
I was going to say, I can
rents
only
are
think of
$1,500.
maybe 5 or 6, and they're not properties that you really would want to see a citizen living in.
Correct, and I don't want to steer people towards that.
Right.
Yeah, rents.
Right, but what choice?
Rents. We're not talking about Section 8, but regular apartment rentals are running 15, 16, 17, depending on how many bedrooms, up to over $2,000 a month.
Wow.
Right.
Room rentals in-house. I get a lot of questions for that because that's all they can afford. Those are upwards of $800 and $900 a month for a small bedroom in a house that you share with other roommates. No guarantee of what kind of roommates you have.
Wow.
And so it's shifted. My number one call that I get is for affordable housing, and the simple math question that I have for everyone is, how do you make $900? Some people have been collecting Social Security for years now. How do you make $900 in Social Security as your only source of income and pay over $1,000 a month in rent? You can't.
The math doesn't work.
You can't.
March 16th, we're going to tackle that right here on the radio. But we called this show that you can help too, and we're going to talk on that show about how you can help us advocate for seniors. We're going to take our mid-show break for the Helping Seniors show. We've got so much more to cover with our guests. Nancy Deardorff in the studio. Well, not a guest. She's part of the team here at Helping Seniors, but also with Barb McIntyre, Reverse Mortgage Funding, and Traci Graf with Avid Home Care. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
12:32 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. You're listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard for this Wednesday afternoon. Let's get back to more of the show right now with the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the host of the show. Here's Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry.
Hey, John Harper, and thanks, and welcome back to our lunchtime gathering every Wednesday right here on 90.3 FM, WEJF. Also want to say hello to those listening online at WEJF.net, and also to those people who catch this as a podcast, because really since the start of the year now, not only do we find a lot of people like to catch the rebroadcast of this on the Helping Seniors of Brevard YouTube channel, some people watch it on Facebook Watch, but we are officially in podcast land too, which includes Facebook podcasts, and you can actually get the Helping Seniors radio show any place that you get podcasts. It's there on iTunes. It's there on Amazon. If you ask Alexa, play Helping Seniors Radio, it's going to find that and play that for you. Some people like Spotify, iHeartRadio. You'll find us there. So with that, we have so much to talk about. This program is titled You Can Help Too. And during the first half, we were sharing with our both Nancy Deardorff, our operations director, who's here in the studio with us today, but also our guest, Barb McIntyre with Reverse Mortgage Funding, and Traci Graf with Avid Home Care. Just before the break, we were talking about a date. So if you grab a pencil and a piece of paper so you can jot this down, we want to make sure that you're back with us on March 16th, because that is the day that we're going to start having a real discussion on the air about affordable housing and some of the things that you heard us talking about. We're going to have some guests from the Brevard Commission on Aging in the studio with us and really try to make that an opportunity. A couple other dates, though, that I want to share with you while you've got your pencil and paper handy. I want to give you a personal invitation to come out and join us. This is going to be a lot of fun, Nancy. This is going to be February. This is Sunday, the last Sunday in February, February 27th. We're all going to be out with our exciting first real super big, trying to have all the cars out and everything, the 2022 6th Annual Helping Seniors Car Raffle. We have been invited out again this year by the Satellite Beach Lions Club. They do a big car show right there at the Schechter Center. And Nancy, it's going to be fun to see all those cool cars out there.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's so much fun. It is our big fundraiser for the year, the car raffle fundraiser. But aside from that, it is just loads of fun to get out there to the Lions Club at the Schechter Center for our really official kickoff of our 2022 car raffle fundraiser, and start thinking about getting your tickets, because not only do you have a chance to win one of your choice of 4 cars, but your ticket is also your entry to the grand drawing in October at the American Muscle Car Museum. And unlike the lottery, if you don't win the car, you still have the benefit of providing a charitable donation to a really worthy cause of helping seniors, to help us help our Brevard County senior citizens.
Oh, that was so well said. And you know, the ticket sales are in fact actually open. If you feel lucky and you want to, like, hey, I got to be first in, one ticket is $25, 5 for a $100 donation. And you can call Nancy. She'll get you set up at 321-473-7770. As before, helpingseniors.carraffle.com. You can just go there and safely, securely buy your tickets there online. And make sure you put that date down. It's October 29th, 2022, Saturday evening. It's going to be the place to be. Mark Pylock's beautiful American Muscle Car Museum. He's been such a gracious host ever since he opened that facility. He has said to Joe and Ed Fleece, who's our treasurer, he said, "No, I want to help you guys, and I'll open my garage," and I use that term loosely because it's like an $80 million. It's like you could fit 747s, I think, like several of them under his roof. But he not only does he open that up, and it's a great chance to come out and see those cars and have so much fun, but somebody's going to take home a new car that night. So it might as well be you, but you got to get a ticket and be in it. But on the 27th of February, the Satellite Beach Lions Club has again invited us to be out there. So we're going to be out there. It's basically 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., I think, is the hours. We're going to try to have all 4 cars, because this is decision time, folks. When you win, you have to decide what new car do you want to drive home in. They're all beautiful cars from Boniface Hires. AJ has worked together with Joe for years to make this charitable thing happen. But, you know, AJ has a Dodge dealership, so the Dodge Challenger is represented as one of the cars. He's got a Chevrolet dealership, so the Camaro is represented. Last year, our winner, David Odahowski, local fellow from over in Orlando, he chose the Kia Sportage. But there's also the Mazda Miata convertible, which is kind of fun. Now, I know we've been around the horn, but Tracy, what pick?
I always go with the SUV now.
Uh-huh.
I'm old. I like the SUV.
Okay, I got it. And what about you, Barb?
The Miata. Convertible.
Yep. And Nancy, although we can't win, what do you pick?
No, sadly I can't win because I'm official employee now. That's the only sad part about my job. I drove the Dodge, so I'm a Chevy fan. I drove the Dodge, so I became a Dodge fan. But either the Camaro or the Dodge for sure.
They're all fun. But if you go to helpingseniors.carraffle.com, it's a great place to find out everything that's going on with that. And that's another way that you can help too, because people just assume that, you know, nonprofits have all the money they need. That would be a great time. We could all be snickering at the same time, because that nothing is farther from the truth. If it weren't for the dedication and the continuous efforts of your help, you as a listener, when you buy those Helping Seniors car raffle tickets, or you get involved when Joe sends out that letter about the annual giving fund, or whether you're a business and you say, hey, I want to get behind the work of helping seniors, very much like Barb McIntyre does with her organization, Reverse Mortgage Funding, and Traci Graf does with Avid Home. We couldn't do this without you guys.
Yeah, and I want to add, thank you so much, Barb McIntyre, and thank you so much, Tracy, for being sponsors of Helping Seniors.
Yes.
Thank you to all of our sponsors. At whatever level of sponsorship you are, we depend on you, and it's because of great people like you that own great businesses like you that we're able to function, not only financially because we're so dependent on you, but also what we do, which is helping to improve the quality of life of seniors. And I just want to add a reminder, if there's anyone listening that owns a business or organization or is part, and you would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me at 321-473-7770. We need your support. We're 100% donor and sponsorship funded, and we depend on you to help seniors. It's a philanthropic thing to do for a charitable organization, and we have some benefits of sponsorship for your business as well. So reach out to me if you're interested in hearing more. 321-473-7770.
Yeah, very well said. So the other date I want to have you add to your calendar, we're going to be out Sunday, February 27th, but go ahead and put down Monday, February 28th, because we are all going to be together. If you remember, pre-COVID, we were doing a lot of community information seminars, and we did them together with our friends there at Zon Beachside. So that's Zon Beachside right there, 1894 South Patrick Drive. Beautiful location, and they always roll out the red carpet. They make sure we have coffee and nice little muffins and great things, because we get there at 10:30 in the morning on the 28th. This is Monday the 28th, and we will be having a conversation it's about 50 minutes. It's not a long thing, but it's a great opportunity. As you know, if you've been following any of this with Helping Seniors, our drumbeat this year is we're here to be helping you get your ducks in a row, which Joe would probably a little bit more academically and correctly call, let's get your aging plan together. And so we're going to be talking with some of the people who have been part of the Senior Resource Center of Brevard. That was an organization that kind of grew out of some of the things with Helping Seniors, a number of businesses providing services. So we're going to have Tyler Runt from the law office of Amy Van Fossen. She's going to be there. Debbie Beard, who is Next Chapter Real Estate, is going to be there. She actually sits on the board of Helping Seniors as well. And Sherry Garofalo, who is a care manager, is going to be there because she was one of the original people in the Senior Resource Center. So it's going to be a good overview as we're focused in on getting your ducks in a row for this year. And actually, Barb, we have a couple of topics we want to get to in this show. One of them is you've got an article that's going to be coming up in the March edition of Senior Scene. And I love the title of this because this fits this whole thing. It's called What Do Most of Us Have in Common? We Plan. And I thought, what a great thing for you to be talking about, because that's kind of the theme that we're on this whole year.
Right, we plan, we usually start planning right from being young people. We plan about where we're going to go to school and what we might do as a career and where we're going to live, raise our kids. And then as we move through our lifetime, we get towards retirement and we really can't stop planning. We have to continue to plan. Where do we want to retire? Do we want to stay in our home? Do we want to go into assisted living? It's very important that we don't stop planning when we get to those years, because how we decide to make our money and our resources last for the balance of our life requires a plan. And so it's just critical that we really take a hard look at what we think we want our retirement years to look like. And so that's pretty much what the article is about. Do I want to go into assisted living? And if so, then perhaps selling my home and using that resource to pay for the higher cost of assisted living would be the way I go. Do I want to age in place in my home? Well, maybe if I do, then using a reverse mortgage to retrofit or use services to make my house safe and make sure that I have what I need in my home would be the way to go. So that's what the article is about. It's about really planning for the different things you might need in retirement and using your house as one of your financial assets to make that work.
Yeah, Joe has always talked about elements of care. He's, what he means by that, or at least as I understand it, is he's talking about you're going to need different things at different stages. And so one of the things you want to be careful to do to use your resources correctly is understand that curve, that where you start, you may need more as you go along. And so the tool of a reverse mortgage could very well be one of those things. It's an arrow in your quiver of things that may help you as you navigate all of this. And so I know we've talked about it just generally, but I think now is still a good time to look at a reverse mortgage because you have the high value of your home and the interest rates are still reasonably low.
Absolutely. Actually, interest rates are starting to climb a little bit, and values are definitely still going up. There's a couple features to a reverse mortgage that my favorite use of a reverse mortgage is actually a growing line of credit, which higher interest rates and growing interest rates are very favorable for a line of credit which increases. So that's a whole nother aspect of a reverse mortgage that the higher rates is a benefit. So my favorite motto is knowledge is power, and like I said before, that's what I like to do. I like to give information.
Yeah.
So anybody just wanting to know more about the product, I'm always available. The only time I don't answer my phone is when I'm already talking to someone. So you can always call me at 321-259-7880, and I will answer the phone. Typically, that first call, certainly I'll return your call if I can't take your call at that moment.
Yeah, no, and you've always been very generous with your time and help on that topic, and it becomes important. So one of the other things as we're talking about this topic of you can help too, I didn't realize this until we were just trading emails, but Traci Graf with Avid Home Care, in addition to being a registered nurse, talk about an overachiever here, in addition to being a registered nurse who has her own company, she's an author.
I am.
You are an author.
I am.
And you have your book out.
Actually, it's actually kind of funny for me to say it, but I'm actually an internationally published author.
Well,
because my
wow.
book was
not
translated.
Not worthy.
It's really funny, honestly. My book was translated into Mandarin Chinese.
Wow.
And it was picked up by a publisher in Beijing, China.
Wow.
I don't have an agent, so nobody tracks sales. So periodically, my publisher in Canada might check in with somebody over in Taiwan, I think. I'm not really sure, but they did send me a lovely copy of the translated version.
How cool.
But yes, very exciting. I mean, I never thought about it, that it would happen. So my step down from stress plan, which took me to home care, was that I was an organ transplant coordinator for Gift of Life in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was an amazing 3 years I did that. It was an absolutely unbelievable, life-changing career. I just can't even. And so when I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore, I felt that I just had burned out and was no longer effective. I'm getting out of it. I went into home care, and I liked it right away because it was a lot of one-on-one patient interaction, which I'd never had in anything I did really, except the psych unit, and that was, patient interaction was iffy.
Wow, yeah, God bless you.
So I mean, it was an amazing opportunity, and I had all these patients who would say to me, "You should write a book. You should write a book." So I finally decided, you know what? I think I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
And I'm the only donor coordinator who has ever written a book,
Wow.
even now to this day. And I have former co-workers who supported it, and some who said, "I don't know if I would have shared that information," and that's okay. I mean, that's fine. It's my personal. It's me. If I sat here and told you about a donor story that I was on, or a donor case that I was on, that's how the book reads. It's like it's personal memoirs. But there's some important information that I want to get out for seniors that I think many people have no idea. When you think a senior citizen, well, how can they be an organ donor, right? I mean, and many times when we went out to evaluate cases, which is what the transplant coordinators did all day long, nonstop, you would encounter people who were older and were, on life support for whatever situation was happening, and we knew from what was happening that they were not going to make any kind of recovery. And many times, even the healthcare team was like, back off. They're 70. What do you want? And I'm like, you know what? There's probably some 70-year-olds sitting down there in Florida waiting for kidneys. That's what we want. And even I will say, I admit, even in the beginning when I first started doing that, I sometimes felt like, oh man, the older donors, like, do we have to do this? But I saw the transition. I saw what happened. And what would end up happening is people who were, number 342 on the list.
Yeah, you gave them a chance.
They got a kidney. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of times they end up matching up with older donors. And so I wrote an article recently for the place, you and another place that I write articles, and it was about the organ donation in seniors, because I don't think people understand. And one thing that I've definitely become aware of since writing the book is that many seniors have living wills. Living will says, I don't want to be artificially supported by a ventilator or by IV therapy. Well, those are things that have to happen to get to being an organ donor.
Oh.
And some people misinterpret that information. Some people don't. But some people misinterpret that information. So you have, say grandma's found down at home and nobody really knows what happened. And they rush her to the hospital, and the hospital calls her daughter. And her daughter says, well, she has a living will. So, what do you think you need to do if you need to put her on a ventilator and she wouldn't have wanted that? Well, here it turns out she probably was a brain bleed and would have been the perfect organ donor.
Wow.
But they would have had to have intubated her and started supporting her blood pressure with meds and drugs. And
I want to read your book. What's the title of it?
I did not do this to sell my book.
No, I really want to read your book.
I did not. The Gift of Life. It's The Gift of Life. I think there's a subtitle of The Reality Behind Organ Donor Recovery.
Yeah, I literally went to Amazon.
If you put on Amazon and put The Gift of Life, Traci Graf, it'll come right up.
Yeah, and it's Traci.
Yeah, and then Graf is one F.
Yeah.
But I felt that was really important, because I think that something like that can be corrected with a simple phrase added to your living will.
Oh, yeah.
That,
Unless
I don't want,
you're a candidate for...
Right, exactly. That's all they have to do. Or they just have to tell their family. That's even more important. Let your family understand that I want this honored, but I need you to make sure first that I'm not in a situation that I could save another life.
Right.
Because let's get real. If you donate an organ, you saved that person's life.
Yeah.
You threw that person who was literally hanging off a cliff, you threw them a rope and pulled them back to life. It doesn't matter how you turn it, twist it, you're saving that person's life.
Of course.
And, sometimes, we used to say that the person has already died many times. They're not going to recover. So, you're leaving here today and you're leaving the hospital that day. Your loved one has already died.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about that.
Right.
What we can do is you walk out saying, my loved one died, but they saved 7 lives.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I believe
one
in
donor
organ
can save
donation
7.
for sure.
One donor can save 7 lives.
See, I wonder if we titled this show "You Can Help Too," and think about it.
Oh.
As you check out,
Absolutely.
here's a chance that you can do something that makes a difference that you can leave behind. But maybe as seniors, we're concerned or we don't know that we have anything left to give.
We don't think about that. And look here, I put in my article that in 2019, 63% of all U.S. recipients were older than 50.
Wow.
And 21% were older than 65. The oldest organ donor in the United States was a 92-year-old liver donor. 92.
Wow.
Who saved the life of a 69-year-old recipient.
Is this the article that's in
Yes.
the senior scene?
Correct, yes. And so I looked up stats. That's going in and out and it's making me. I looked up stats just to see what the current stats were for Florida before I came this morning. And right now, for people older than 65, older than 65, there's 1,349 people in this region waiting for an organ.
Wow.
So, 1,179 of them are kidneys.
Wow.
And they're the ones that really, get transplanted the most often.
I would be curious to know on Florida driver's licenses how many say organ donors,
Right.
and then how that equates to people with living wills.
Right.
That,
I don't know, but
it'd be
again, it
interesting.
could be on your driver's license.
But
if they honor your living will and not what's on your license, I talk about that in my book. Donor designation means nothing.
Right.
If you don't get to the point that they are supporting you with oxygen,
Right.
medication, and fluids.
Wow.
be something to talk to Bill Johnson
Right.
about too.
No, absolutely.
Now, of course, real quick, I'll throw in the corneal donation, which is the other article you have here.
Uh-huh.
Is something that anyone anyone can donate. Even people who have died from cancer, which people don't know, but people who die from cancer can donate their corneas.
Wow.
And that's no gift. That's no small gift. People who go in for a corneal transplant go in the OR blind and come out and can see.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's that dramatic.
Yeah,
and they can be taken even in the morgue, even in the funeral home. The eye team can go.
Wow.
So what will happen is typically you'll get a call from the Florida Eye Bank after someone passes away in your family.
When you first started to talk about that, you looked at me and I went corneas, because that's what I thought you were going to say.
Yes.
Because of losing a good friend, that was
They
what
can
they
donate
asked.
corneas.
Yeah.
Yes, and you'll get a letter, just like the organ donor team will send you a letter about where the cornea went. You know, they'll give you some vague information, nothing personal, but it's such a big deal. I mean, it's such a big deal. I mean, I was even shocked to see that they said that there's an estimated 44,000 corneal transplants done every year.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. So I guess to kind of like put this into perspective, so somebody could certainly go and get your book, but maybe it's another reason to give you a call, Tracy, just to say, like, can you point me in the right direction? Yeah. So if somebody said, hey, I heard you guys talking about this, I really want to think my way through this. Yeah. How do they reach you again at Avid Home Care?
They can call me at 321-392-3400. I'd be glad to give them information and help them if I can. I mean, I tend to be a resource a lot of times for people not knowing what else to do. Right. TransLife is the main organ procurement organization in this Brevard County area. Okay. They're out of Orlando. Okay. They are the organ donor program, that works to do what I did in Philadelphia. Okay. So their website will have tons of information as well. And UNOS. I'm also a UNOS ambassador. UNOS is the United Network of Organ Sharing. Uh-huh. And thankfully I was given that from secondary to the book. Wow. So, they again, that's where I went and got this data just this morning. It's public records. You can go and look. It's amazing. So intriguing. Amazing amount of information.
Good information, and that's what we say. There's so many ways that you can help too. I mean, even when you've already left here, you can still be helping if you think about that the right way. But we've talked about this in so many ways, and Barb McIntyre, just speaking about authority, you should write a book about this whole thing about reverse mortgages, because you are the walking encyclopedia about all of that.
Get an agent.
I could get it.
That's my advice.
Okay, get an agent. I could certainly write a book. There's many stories, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the ugly stories, and you've seen how it can work out the right way.
Oh, I've seen far more how they work out the right way than I've seen ugly stories.
That's good. No, we're always teasing her because Joe really puts people through the paces. And when he first heard reverse mortgage, I mean, this is years ago. He was remembering some of the. He
vetted me. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you went through all that. So if somebody has reverse mortgage questions or just questions in general on how it might work for them,
right?
What's a way they reach you?
The easiest way is 321-259-7880 anytime.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for both being on the show. Nancy, you get all the calls from everybody all the time. I mean, we keep learning every time we show up for a radio show, don't we? It's amazing.
We do. And you know what? I also learn from my callers. Yeah. So it's excellent. And helping seniors, I can be reached at 321-473-7770.
Yeah, and so we will see you next week here back at the radio. Mark your calendar for Wednesday at 12 noon on 90.3 FM WEJF. And on behalf of Joe Steckler, our president and founder, and all of us on the Helping Seniors team, we will see you next week. Have a great week till then.